एवरीबडी नोज मी? ऐसा कोई है जो मुझे नहीं पहचानता है? सब पहचानते हैं ना? बहुत अच्छा है, फिर अच्छी बात है ना, मुझे परिचय नहीं देना पड़ेगा अपना। I gave some homework to you. What did you guess out of that homework? I came here 10 minutes before. You were not there, no problem, you were not, so you listen. I came 10 minutes ago and I gave them a homework. And I said, go through a website, upsc.gov.in. A latest information UPSC has shared. The list of how many candidates? 1410 candidates. 900 people must have, 950 or so would have qualified the final exam. That means 2350 or 2400 number of candidates must have been called to appear at personality test. This data is almost every year same. For this data also there is a thumb rule. What is the principle? Typically whatever are the vacancies of a particular year, because when UPSC releases the notification for the civil services examination, at that time UPSC does not know what are the exact number of vacancies for that particular year for which exam is being conducted, because exam is conducted 1 year in advance and the requirement of the ministries have to be filled after 2 years maybe. Whole process takes about 2 years. So on the basis of tentative number of vacancies, UPSC advertises and that keeps on changing. UPSC thinks that there may be 850 but actual vacancies may be 960 or actual vacancy may be 1160, that kind of thing. Every ministry and every state, because many All India services, what is the difference between All India services and Central Services Group A? Can anybody explain me? They serve in states. They are organized into the format of state cadres. All India services, and they are governed by Constitution Article 309. All India services and Rajya Sabha. If you have to create an All India service, then the resolution with that effect has to be initiated from Rajya Sabha. That is the exclusive power of Rajya Sabha, Council of States. Rajya Sabha means Council of States. It is representative of states. So Rajya Sabha has to start a resolution if some service has to be converted into an All India services. Otherwise, rest of all services, other than there are only 3 All India services as of now: Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, and Indian Forest Service, not Indian Foreign Service. Indian Foreign Service is Central Services Group A. So, if there are 23 services by this exam, then other than these 2 services, IAS and IPS, all others are Central Services Group A, few of them are Group B also. 4 services are Group B out of 23. Delhi and Andaman Nicobar Island, Civil Services, Delhi and Andaman Nicobar Island, Police Services, they are Group B services. Pondicherry Civil Service, Pondicherry Police Service, they are Group B services. And there are few others Group B services also. So, majority of services are Central Services. So, All India services are those services which are organized into the format of cadre, state cadre. Other services does not have state cadre. Only All India services are having state cadre. So, to IAS, your rank must be typically about 80. So, this thing I told you, that this 1400 people who have not qualified, but what is visible to you? Why I would have told you to see them? What are your guesses? Most of them, factually, go and cross check, count out of 1400, 823 we have counted. The people are from science or engineering background, either BTech degree or MBBS degree or BDS degree or M Pharma degree. 823 people, and I am not talking about the people who qualified. Among us qualified also there would have been, but the people who flunked, and that has been my basic premise most of the time, that the people who flunk, most of them are science persons. what mistakes they have committed in their life. Most of them have not opted for the science subjects. Because how many people opt, that data will be also available. How many people appear with the physics optional? 125. Maximum 150. How many people appear with the chemistry optional? 125 to 150 maximum. How many people appear with the mathematics? 300, 250 to 300, 300 people. Maximum number of people with the science background appear with the maths optional, maximum. Then comes physics and chemistry. So out of these, their background would have made them sufficient to, they could have opted for the science optionals, but they have not opted science optionals. That is why their marks in the optional also must not have crossed, because there is not subject-wise division, but I am 100% sure their marks in the optional would not be more than 275 in any average. If I calculate, must be much less than 275 marks, because this 275 plus score in civil services examination in optionals is typical preservative, typical domain of science subjects. If you are opting for science subjects, then our score is 270. You can easily achieve, you can score above 275, but in other subjects it is difficult to score above 275. We will focus. पहले थोड़ा सा एक token काम कर दूँ today. Lenin Babu has come all the way. So we will release these books. Yesterday I didn't had a nice photograph. आइए भाई साहब, एक आइए, इनको बुलाइए जल्दी से यार, सबको घंटी रखिए यहाँ पर ताकि मैं अरे प्लीज वेलकम. यस यस, डू कम. आइए भाई साहब, एक एक ले लीजिए. मैम आइए. हाँ हाँ, सो नाइस. ये लाल कलर वाली एक एक लीजिए और ये दिखाइए जी. इतिहास के टीचर, इतिहास की लो जी. आप मैम, आप कौन सी लोगे जी? और इनको तो पॉलिटी देते हैं. ली ज्योग्राफी आपके नाम पर और जनरल साइंस मेरे नाम पर. देखो भाई साहब, अच्छे से खींचो भैया, अच्छे से. ऊपर से दिख रहा है मुझे, बीच में करो भाई साहब, ऐसा अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है मुझे. अब भाई साहब आपको भी खिंचवाएंगे यार. ये पर्पज है कि ये रिलीज करी जा रही हैं, और कल हमने ये सेमिनार किया था लेकिन हमने रिलीज नहीं की थी. वी आर रिलीजिंग. दीज आर द कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस कोर्स फॉर जनरल स्टडीज ऑल ओवर इंडिया. We are going to distribute these things because that provides, these books will give you all static questions which are required from UPSC point of view. We have got them collected, all the material from standard sources. They are all standard and authentic books, because doing well in the optional itself is not sufficient in civil services examination. First you have to qualify the gateway, then only you will get a chance to write down the mains exam. So this is the set of 11 books. Our starting book is the 12, this first 12 years collection of past previous year questions of prelims. This is first starting point, that is the reference level. After this reference level only other books are required. There are set of 5 red color books which is nothing but the collection from standard sources like NCERT books, Tamil Nadu state books, then your IGNOU material. All the things which is according to me is required for static portion and foundation of general studies. That is incorporated into these 5 books. These 5 books are the standard content books and these 5 books are the blue color. एक blue color वाली भी ले लो भाई साहब, कोई भी दे दो उनको. These 5 blue color books. These 5 blue color books are workbooks. They are objective question books. So that is 11 set of books which will be required, which will be good, give you good background for civil services examination 2025. 2 other books I recommend which must be an essential read, and this is for general studies, which is not my domain in today's class at all. Today's class I am going to focus on the science optional as the best optionals for UPSC. That is what is the domain of my today's discussion, which I am going to start discussion in due course of time. And 2 other books which I said. What are those 2 books? One is Constitution as it is, original Constitution. So that you must remember almost all 395 articles in a very judicious and scientific manner For teaching the whole constitution, I typically take one class. How to remember all 395 articles? I will be taking one such class in this week. And one is India Yearbook. Only 2 other books other than these 11 books I recommend for the first foundation part of the general studies. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. अच्छे से फोटो खींच गई भाई साहब? बढ़िया. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. अब आप चाय पानी पीजिए. अब मुझे अपने काम को करने दीजिए. आप और किसी को जो फोटो वोटो खिंचानी हो तो बाद में खिंचा लीजिएगा. ठीक है भाई साहब? आपको भी जब खिंचानी हो, आपने तो पढ़ना चालू कर दिया क्या? हिस्ट्री पढ़ना. जब पढ़ना चालू करो तब आपका कमेंट लूंगा मैं. हाउ व्हाट दिस इज द फर्स्ट एडिशन. देन बेटर नेक्स्ट एडिशंस विल बेटर वर्जन्स ऑफ दिस. आप भी देख सकते हो जब भी देखने की इच्छा हो. वो बात की बात है. सो व्हाट इज द फोकस ऑन टुडेज? Good. So today's class I am just going to focus on these things. Science optionals are the best optionals which cannot be opted and should not be opted for every Tom, Dick and Harry. They can be opted by only the people having some background, and not some background, excellent background. And if good background and excellent background people who can opt for science optionals are not opting for science optionals and have decided to appear at civil services examination, they are committing blunders of their life. Because science optionals are not the subject which can be opted by any person. Any other subject can be opted by any person. Any individual can opt for any other subject. But science optionals can be opted only when you have got a background into that. If you have not done BSc or MSc in physics, you cannot think of opting for physics optional. Definitely engineering graduate can opt for anything. If you are not an engineering graduate or BSc or MSc degree holder, you cannot think of opting for the science subject. Typically my recommendations are, like if you are coming for engineering degree, first of all you must go through the UPSC syllabus of science optionals, particularly physics, chemistry, mathematics, depending upon your background. If your BTech degree is in electrical engineering, electronics engineering, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, aeronautical engineering, then first choice must remain with the engineering physics. MSc, BSc, degree in physics, then your first choice, aankh band karke, should be what? Physics optional, provided not that you have scored only 60% marks in your BSc exam also. If you have scored 60% marks, then you must think, you must know the reasons why you have scored 60% marks. If you have studied and scored 60, 65, 70% marks, then subject is not for you. Then definitely this subject is not for you, because competition is among us the best crowd. But if you have not scored good marks in university, and you know, because you have not studied and you have not scored good marks, you can very well do. But if somehow you have scored 70% plus marks in your BSc or MSc, physics is must be the only choice before you. Because by opting for the physics, your whole academic background is consolidated. At least you come to know of your subject nicely, and if you can qualify, if you have got caliber of qualifying this exam with any other subject, you can qualify with the physics also, because it is a subject where success rate is more than 10%. I can tell you from our vast set of data, backed by data, that subject is having success rate of about 10 to 15%. How the success rate is defined, that I will come into this. If let us say 125 people have appeared with the physics optional in the mains, 125 people have appeared in the physics optional in the mains, and you see in the list 12 people have qualified, then you will say success rate is 12 out of 125. But I do not count success rate in this way, because the data which I have just now shared, UPSC has revealed the data of many people flunking the exam, and most of the people who have flunked after appearing at the personality test, they are coming from science and engineering backgrounds, most of them. So that means the performance of science and engineering graduates, even in general, their humanity subjects performance is also bad. Their performance in personality test is also skewed. Their performance in personality test, average performance in the personality test is not very good. So same thing holds good in our optionals also. Physics, chemistry, maths optionals, vast set of data. Whenever I will say 35 people or 30 to 35 people get a call, out of 125, every year we reveal the people the name of people who appear at the personality test. For our side, from our institute, because we are teaching for the mains, optionals are taught into the mains. So for us, what is the success rate? Success rate for us is that the person who have appeared into the mains exam with physics optional, what marks he or she scores in the physics optional, and whether he qualifies for the personality test or not. So the number of people qualifying with the physics optional or chemistry optional or mathematics optional particularly is quite high. 30 to 35 people out of 125 appearing get an interview call every year. You can go and cross check this data, because this data UPSC does not provide. When the UPSC releases its annual report, in the annual report they describe the success rate, and they count the success rate as number of candidates being successful, that means being in the final list, not in this, even this 1400 list, being in the selected list with what optional they have opted for. Good. So they do not give you the number of people taking the interview with optionals. So physics optional, about it is worst case scenario, it is 30 people qualifying out of 125. What is the success rate? 35 out of 125. It is more than 20%. It is more than 20%. More than 20% is the success rate of the science optionals. But because no one teaches these optionals other than DIAS, no institute teaches these science optionals, so hype is created that these optionals are not scoring. Year by year, you can see the result in our website. You can see, if you want to check the results of the mains examination. So we can give you the result of mains examination year by year, that if the number of people qualified have been 22, then the people who have appeared into the interview had been more than 50 plus. More than 50 plus students from physics, chemistry, mathematics background have qualified civil services examination. So success rate turns out to be about 20% with the science optionals. Good. What are the points in favor of science optionals? Why one should go for the science optional? First thing, science of, like I started with the basic premise, and still I say the way this competitive examination has been designed, UPSC is a state body, government body, correct? It cannot be biased in favor of some subject or against some subject as a principle. As a principle, it cannot be biased in favor of or against some optional. So every optional must be equally scoring. The way thing is designed, every optional must be equally scoring. So every optional is equally scoring. Try to understand, given this, with this provided I will be elaborating. Every optional is equally scoring. Highest marks in almost every optional is also same. If highest marks in physics is 315, highest marks in history will be also 315 or so. Highest marks are almost also same. And that is how they go for the normalization, scaling up or scaling down. If the highest marks in history would have been 288 and highest marks in physics would have been 330, then history marks will be raised, their scaling will be made higher by the factor of whatever. So whatever the information I have got about the scaling or this normalization is that the highest marks, medium of highest marks of every subject is taken, whatever the raw scores. After evaluation of the answer sheets, whatever the examiner gives the marks, examiner evaluates it the way they evaluate in the university exams. So if I am evaluating the answer sheet, I may give you 80% or 90% marks, 95% marks. If it is numerical question, I can give you 90 to 95% marks. Theoretical question also I can give you up to 90% of the marks. The way evaluation is done of the science subjects in universities. But that kind of marks you do not get in the real exam. When you get the marks, then those marks are scaled marks, normalized score. Normalized score in science optional is typically reduced. Like this reduction factor varies from year to year, varies from 0.65 to 0.72, depending upon the toughness of the paper. 0.65, like if everything is correct, whole paper is correct, then you will score. If in any other exam, if you would have scored 100% of the marks, here your score must be 65% of this. Like if a 100 marks paper, you would have scored 100 marks in the university or board exam, here that marks will be reduced to 65. And if outstanding answers, it could be 72% also if paper is little difficult, where the highest is not even any marks, highest is not 80% or 90%, then it can be increased also. This normalization factor increases or decreases depending upon what are the median of the marks, median of the highest marks given by the different examiners of different optionals. Try to appreciate. So median is taken of the raw scores. Raw scores are the marks given by the examiners, and on that basis we arrive at the median highest score for optional subject, one paper of optional. Accordingly we increase or decrease. Like if marks is highest is 288 and general highest has been come out to 315, like 330 was the highest in physics, but median highest marks in all the optionals put together is 315, then physics will be lowered 330, 315 divided by 315 is the median highest marks, and highest in physics has been 330. So 315 divided by 330, by this factor marks of every person will be reduced. Exactly in the history, if it is 288 and median highest marks are 315, so 315 divided by 288, by this factor marks will be increased. So in this way, although UPSC does not reveal its strategy, this way they try to give level playing field to every optional. Try to appreciate. So starting is that whatever subject you are opting for, you have to be in top 5 to 10% of that subject. Good. If you are not in 5 to 10% of that subject, then you are not going to qualify with whatever optional. So in that sense, every optional is quite competitive. Whatever optional you are going to opt for, until unless you are in 5 to 10% of that particular optional, you are not going to score good marks in the optional. Good. And my seminar, my focus in today's class is only on optional. I am not focusing on general studies. I have taken the seminar yesterday, and some other time also I can take the seminar for general studies, because general studies is very important. If your general studies is not good, then you are not going to get even a chance to write down the mains examination, because gateway to mains opens only by qualifying prelims, and prelims is a test of only general studies. So this year I have already announced that we have come up with some correspondence course for GS. We also run the general studies program with the best of the faculty, and at a very comprehensive manner. The very same way we teach science optional, same way we teach general studies program also. So you can come for the general studies seminar also sometime later. So starting point of optionals was that every optional is equally scoring. Then how the science optionals are better, why the science optionals are the best. And the people, if they could have opted for science optionals, they do not opt for the science optionals, then their performance in this examination is poor. First of all, science optionals are objective. Science optionals are objective. So results, marks awarded by different set of examiners do not vary much. There is not a great variation in the marks whether answers are evaluated by A or answer is evaluated by B. Because answers are examiner neutral, does not depend upon the wins and premises of the examiner. If there is a some numerical problem, there will be a fixed answer of that numerical problem. If there is a some standard derivation, there will be standard method of doing that derivation also. See, for everything is correct. Examiner is the, right now I am talking in terms of the scores which you get, that is normalized score, because my whole evaluation is on the basis of normalized score, because that is the score which people normally get. So already my evaluation process is with the normalization factor of 65%. Whenever I talk for 100%, I have reduced to 65%. That is why most of the time my marking and the marks obtained by the students in civil services examination are parallel. If you get in my test series 280 marks, in the real exam also you get 280 marks. That kind of parallel I have developed in my vast teaching career. So now whenever I am talking, now my reference levels from now onwards are the score, not raw score, it is the normalized score which you people get. So for every correct answer, typically if the answer is correct, I am bound to give, examiner is bound to give you 55% of the marks. And this 55% of the marks in terms of university evaluation is 85%. The 10 mark question, any examiner, if I am evaluating the same answer for university exam, I will give you 85% of the marks. Theoretical question or numerical question. But here in UPSC exam, I will give you 5.5, 55%. Then what is the discretion of examiner? Only 1 mark, 5.5 to 6.5. 5.5, if I am giving you 55% marks or 85% marks, I say the answer is very good. And 55 to 60%, that means 85 to 90% in university exam, I call answer is excellent, correct? And above 90%, 85 to 90, already I have told that 80 to 85 bracket was very good. Here I am giving you what marks? 55% of the marks. Above 55%, 55 to 60% marks in civil services examination, that is 5.5 to 6 in 10 mark question, because the reference level of 10 mark question is good. 100 marks you can just multiply by the factor of 10. So 60% means you are excellent and 65% outstanding. 65% plus marks are outstanding. So if one would have got 60% marks in a paper, what should have been the score? 150. 250, 60% of 250 is what? 150. One should get 60% marks. If it is 60% only, if 65% would have been there, then it is 157.5, 160 approximate. You should have get 160 approximate. Yeah, I said if you get 65% of 250, what is 65% of 250? 157.5, 167.5. बताओ, calculate यार, your 162.5, correct, 162.5. So you should get 163 marks, 162 marks. If you are 65% you are getting, very rare, not everybody gets, very rare that 165 marks is scored. People score up to 172, in fact 179 also, because outstanding is outstanding. Outstanding could be anything higher also. See, the outstanding also varies from paper to paper. Some paper it may be, like in paper 2, this normalization factor is typically 72%. Up to 70 to 72% marks I give. So if 72% marks I am giving, then it is about 170 plus. 170 plus. So people score up to 170 plus in paper 2. Paper 2 is more scoring than the paper 1, because paper 2 is higher level. Most of the people who are having only graduation degree, they are little less familiar with the paper 2. Paper 2 is typically master's standard. Standard and depth of the paper 2 in any optional, not only in physics, any optional, depth of paper 2 is master's standard, four-year degree course. Because in India we are typically having 3-year degree course, so 4th year goes to the master's level so far. But in the new education policy, the syllabus will become parallel up to 4th year. The syllabus of any optional is equivalent of 4-year degree course. So if you have done BTech in engineering physics, then subject is totally matched. So similar thing, if you have done MSc, then also you must have gone through almost the entire syllabus. So the mapping is, it is basically 4-year degree course. And this 4-year degree course I teach in my classes in 4.5 months. It is quite fast. The course has to be, because it is review, almost everybody has got some or the other background. So one great advantage of science optionals was what is the great advantage? First advantage I told you, subject is objective. Objective. If it is objective, evaluation is not dependent upon whims and fancies of the examiner. That means likes and dislikes. If answer is correct, I am bound to give you. If it is not neatly written, then 55%. If it is neatly written, nicely, diagram has been written, no extra information has been given, whatever is asked, that's what only you have done, I will give you 60% of the marks. But if something extra has been added, one line extra, I have asked what and, typical questions are what and how. You have added something of why and where, one line, not very verbose answers, not very long drawn, but one line of where and one line of why. You have added somewhere, I will give you 65% of marks. That is how the answer has to be different from the normal course of answers. That is how we will, but what is the discretion of examiner? Half mark. Half mark. But half marks in 20 questions makes the difference of 10 marks. Half marks in 1 mark in, like for correct answer, I start marking from 85% university wise. Here I am marking from 55%. So 55% to 65%. Every question can give the difference of 1 mark. 1 mark and you are answering 19 questions or 18 questions or 20 questions, then it is 18, 19 marks different. Everybody knows the answer. The person who is getting 55%, he also knows the answer, and the person who is getting some 15 marks extra, that is also knowing the answer. So that difference is bridged only in my class. My class is only up to, if you are scoring 125 or up to 130 marks, then it is your sheer hard work. Your intelligence level, your hard work, your latent energy plays a role in scoring up to 130 marks. Above 130, how to score 145, 160, 150, that is the domain of the class. That comes only by proper practice, by taking the test series right on time, writing 10-15 tests minimum before the real exam. If you are able to do it before a real exam, in the real exam you are going to score 150 plus marks. So one great advantage I said you of the science optionals is that they are objective. How I will prove their objectivity helps in this exam. Like if you are opting with any humanities optional, in one attempt you may get 150 marks. But in the other attempt in the same subject you may get 110 marks or you may get 90 marks. But in science optionals, be it physics, be it math, be it chemistry, be it any other engineering optional, it will never happen. Once you have scored good marks, your performance consistently improves because your level of understanding, level of your knowledge increases in the subject. Rarely decrease in the marks takes place because subject is objective. You are not getting good marks. If you are not getting good marks in these subjects, you know where the mistake is. Either you have not been able to do the syllabus completely or you have not gone for the proper practice. Immediately you will come to know. You will bridge those gaps, you will get good score. So there is a consistency. There is a consistency in performance. This is one great thing. Second thing is, these subjects are language neutral. Science subjects are language neutral. If I am asking you what is Joule-Thomson effect or what is Joule-Kelvin coefficient, then Joule-Kelvin coefficient has to be always written as mu is equal to del T by del P at constant H. Whatever the language, first two line you write, rate of change of temperature with respect to applied constant pressure difference in a constant enthalpy process. You can write this statement in Hindi, you can write that statement is Tamil, you can write that statement is Gujarati, you can write that statement in any language. But ultimately what you will have to write after writing these two steps, mu is equal to del T by Del P at constant H. So del T by del P in every language has to be written only in del T by del P H. So if you are writing del T by del P H above 2 lines, whatever language you have written, I do not know that language, but still I will make out that you have written rate of change of temperature with respect to constant pressure difference in a constant enthalpy process is called Joule Kelvin coefficient. Good. And write down an expression for this. So you have to write mu is equal to del T by del P H is 1 by Cp T del V by del Tp minus V. Straight, because that is a standard kind of questions. So can I change this expression? I cannot change this expression. So it is subject is a language neutral. Second great advantage of the subject is it is language neutral. Third advantage is that not everybody can opt. You are the only person who are going to opt for the subject because you are having some or the other background. Like if you have done BSc, then you are opting, you have done MSc, then you are opting, or you are engineering graduate, then you are opting. So if you are MSc or BSc, it is the best choice available before you. Like if somehow not everybody qualify this exam, success rate of this exam is extremely poor. If 5 years I say, how many people qualify this exam? 3,000. In 1 year, hardly 600 people makes to the final list. How many? 600. No, even if the result is of 900, then I say 300 people are repeated. They must have qualified in the earlier attempts also. So only how many people are getting a new job? 600. So if 5 years I take into account, 6 into 5, 3,000 and 300 repeat, so 300 people have only qualified. And how many people have appeared? About 25 lakhs. About 25 lakhs. Because there are people common. So if I say 5 lakhs people every year, 5 years if I take or 4 years I take, it is about 25 lakhs. Out of 25 lakhs people, how many people are able to qualify? 3,500. Only 3,500 people are able to qualify the final exams. But that does not mean that one should not give a thought to it. Good people always qualify. But the matter of fact is that only 3,500 people are able to qualify even after 5 years. In 1 year, 600 people are qualifying. In 1 year, only 600 people are qualifying. That's it. So first step is that it seems that is correct, but try to how positively we will interpret that if 5 lakhs people have appeared, out of 5 lakhs, first you have to win 15,000. Out of 15,000, then 3,000 people will get an interview call. Try to see how the reduction is taking place year by year. 5 lakhs people appearing to the 10 lakhs people or 11 lakhs people might have filled the form. People filling the form is always double. But half of the people drop out. Because if you appear into the prelims exam, then only attempt is counted. Otherwise attempt is not counted. So people whose preparation is not sound, they do not appear in order to not lose an attempt. Good. So, 3 things in favor of science optionals. What are 3 points I have summarized? It is objective nature. Subject is very objective. Subjectives are objective. Then is language neutral. And third is consistency. Good. Then fourth is syllabus are very well defined. Syllabus are very well defined. Basic nuclear properties. Kya? Basic nuclear properties. What? Size, binding energy, angular momentum, parity. Quadrupole में नहीं लिखा है. That is what I am trying to say. It is so well defined. There are 5 models of nuclei. But what? Only cell model and semi-empirical mass formula. No collective model, no Fermi model, only 2 models. Good. Theory of beta decay. I could have very well written into the syllabus theory of beta decay. Then you have to do the whole Fermi theory of beta. But they have not written. They have written parity violation in beta decay. So they ask questions only on parity violation in beta decay. Just see a simple experiment. So such a well-defined syllabus other than electronics part, where 3 lines they have tried to summarize the whole entire electronics portion. That portion, only 1 line in the syllabus I say is not well defined. That is open-ended syllabus. Otherwise every topic Rutherford scattering formula. If I would have said scattering theory, then the syllabus would have been very vast. But they have written Rutherford scattering formula. You only have to know the derivation and at the most sigma theta and B relationship. How differential scattering cross section is connected by scattering angle. Only derivation you must know, or formula solution problems on them. So they are well defined in the syllabus. Degrees of freedom, they have written even up to what is the definition of degree of freedom, Euler's theorem. So syllabus of science optionals, not only physics, in mathematics also, chemistry also, syllabus is very well defined. Hardly there are 8 books. 8 books. In physics optional there are only 8 books. Any other subject you can see there are large number of books. And I complete the very same way people are, you see other teachers of humanity subjects, they also take 4 months to complete the entire course. No one completes, and they do not complete the entire course. I complete A to Z requirement of whatever UPSC requires. 5 questions always come from my whatever I am teaching into the class, and I cover the things in 4 months. वो 4.5 तो इसलिए होता है क्योंकि मैं 15-20 दिन इधर उधर या तो भाषण देके रोज बढ़ाता हूँ क्लास को, क्योंकि physics is an interesting subject, and if I teach 3 hours then people will get bored. So I make the class interesting. Interesting means I only teach 90 minutes. I made it a point that class is not more than 90 minutes. Content of physics is not more than 90 minutes. Remaining 30 minutes is general talk. I will talk about so many topics and make the class interesting. Only hardly throughout the whole course, if deadlines are not met, then I go for 5 to 10 classes, which are 2 classes a day. If 2 classes a day, then also content of physics is hardly 3 hours. I never teach physics more than 3 hours. And then when I take a class for 3 hours, most of the students get stunned. कि बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया, is too load. 3 hours of the class. I know 3-hour class is a great load in the physics subject. 1.5 hours is more than enough, and I call it my proper noun for that is Feynman golden rule. I call it Feynman golden standard, because R.P. Feynman in his famous lecture notes said that retention of the physics declines exponentially if the class is more than 90 minutes. So I have designed my class that every class is about just 90 minutes, and 90 minutes class we deliver whatever is required in particular topic. So there are 4 very important reasons to go for science subjects. If you are coming from science background, and typical strategy is that first one must complete their optional, because qualifying prelims is only provides you the gateway to appear at the mains exam. In the same attempt you have to qualify the mains, and same attempt you have to qualify the personality test. So whole examination has to be thought as a single step process, that there are 3 hurdles, but all the hurdles has to be crossed in single go. So it is single step process, that prelims pass, mains pass, and interview pass. Everybody has to do in the same way. Good. So if you have got any queries, please do ask me. किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना हो तो feel free to ask. Physics is the best optional. I invite you this class. My class always starts from a standard thing. I will write down the date. The batch starts from this date, then count 5 months, 3 months for paper 1, 2 months for paper 2, and at the end of 5 months your entire course is finished. So if we will start from, let us say 18th. अभी कल की क्लास करेंगे, कल के बाद फिर देखेंगे कि as the many people do not come into the first class, there is a certain standard for class to be maintained. That certain minimum threshold is there for classes to go on. So we will, once the class, today I have taken the seminar, class will start from tomorrow. Today is the 0 class. So class will start from tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And all introductory part, even if the class starts from 18th, even if the class starts from 18th, all the backgrounder of mechanics, that you must know what is acceleration, what is velocity, acceleration, velocity, what is velocity in r theta coordinates. Can you tell me what is the velocity in r theta coordinates? Who can tell me velocity in r theta coordinates? 11th class. 11th class. My class, I strictly teach physics optional from whatever is written into the syllabus. I do not teach 11th and 12th class. I expect that everybody has got good background of 11th and 12th class. So it starts from velocity, position vector, velocity, acceleration, momentum, Newton's law of motion. That is what background I expect. Then what is the resultant of two forces? Those kind of, what is the velocity in our theta coordinates? I know many of you even do not know that. And if you remember velocity, then you do not know acceleration. A vector is r double dot minus r theta dot square r cap plus 2r dot theta dot plus r theta double dot theta cap. So derivation must be known to you, because sometimes they ask, and otherwise also I use this thing. Whenever I have to deal with the central force motion, then I am straight away going to write m into ar is equal to f of r. If I am going to write down Newton's law of motion in r theta coordinates, then mass into acceleration in r coordinate, radial coordinates, must be force into the radial coordinates. So you should know what is the expression for acceleration in radial coordinates. I am going to write it straight. So first two classes are typically bringing it to the level what level I desire. If I require the integration 0 to infinity e raised to power minus x raised to power n minus 1 dx is gamma n. E raised to power minus x raised to power n minus 1 dx is called gamma x. Then I extend e raised to power minus alpha x square x raised to power n dx 0 to infinity integration is 1 upon 2 alpha n plus 1 by 2 gamma n plus 1 by 2. Everybody should know. तो नहीं आता है तो घर में जाके practice कर लो, because whenever the need will arise I will directly use. Then you must know what is line integral, what is surface integral, what is volume integral, how to convert line integral into surface integral, how to convert surface integral into volume integral. Good basic things. What is curl, what is gradient, what is divergence. They are all zero level, they are not written to the syllabus anywhere, but I am going to write all Maxwell equations. Del dot T, del cross E, dot and divergence and curl are required to explain any vector point function or vector field. So these kind of all basic informations which are required to understand physics, because mathematical physics is not the part of syllabus. Did they write? No. In GATE exam and any exam of this level, they always specify mathematical physics. Physics is written to the language of maths. So whatever maths is required, I will give you a brief review. When the batch starts, batch always starts like this. समझ रहे भाई साहब? So if you are not attending the first class, that means, so whenever I take 110 classes or 115 classes, I typically do not do that. And I get annoyed if you do not know, because in the first class itself, and the classes are all continuous process. Once the class gets going, there is non-stop 5 months. If you are not attending the class, it is detrimental to you, because you cannot catch up. Classes with high speed. So I will explain also. My classes are having 4 definitions. क्या क्या भाई साहब कोई बता सकता? What are my classes? How do I define my class? My classes, एक class तो पूरा definition में निकाल देता हूँ. Half hour at least to define my classes. My classes are experience of 4 things. Anybody here in the class who can tell me what are my classes? How do I define my classes? बताओ, पहले क्लास करी थी? नहीं करी थी? हाँ? वो सब तो करता हूँ. Define कैसे करता हूँ क्लास को? How do I define this my course? I define my courses in 4 different stages. One is, it is resonance. It is an experience of resonance. I am at certain frequency. My frequency, I know what are the requirements of UPSC. So I have set my mind on the requirement of UPSC exam consistently. From 90 onwards, I have been involved into the examination process. 5 years as a student, and then remaining 25-28 years as a teacher. So I know which question has appeared in which exam. So my frequency is set according to requirement of UPSC. Your frequency is not set according to requirement of UPSC. You may know physics, but you do not know what is required from UPSC point of view, this competition point of view. So you have to match both the frequencies. When both the frequencies are matched, you come to my frequency, then only the course is 4 months. Or mechanics I will complete in 15 classes. Any other teacher cannot complete mechanics in 15 classes, but I will say that I will complete mechanics in 15 classes. Once my plan is 15 classes at the most, 2 classes here and there, 17 classes. I will not take more than 17 classes to cover A to Z of whatever is prescribed into the syllabus of mechanics in UPSC exam. And at the end of that topics, you will be able to answer all the questions which have been asked in the previous year exams. Good. So my frequency, it's set according to requirement of UPSC. You come from different backgrounds, different academic qualifications, so you have to set your frequency on my basis. When both the frequencies are matched, I am source, you are system. When the frequency of source and system matches, that is the resonance. What happens? This is the requirement, input of resonance. Matching of two frequencies. What is the outcome? Something is optimized. Good. Power is optimized, power resonance. Good. And maximum transfer of energy takes place from the source to the system. Impedance may be minimum or resistances may be minimum. So that is why I am calling the word optimum. Some performance of the system gets optimized. Most of the time optimum means maximum, but it may be minimum also. If I talk in terms of impediments, then it will be minimized. So class is an experience of resonance. One thing. First definition, that class is an experience of resonance. You have to put your frequency at my level. I am not going to reduce. According to my frequency, the course has to be completed in 4.5 and 5 months. This is my frequency, not your frequency. You have to set your frequency on my clock. First. Second, it is experience of a flight. हवाई जहाज की यात्रा है, and that to international flight at the speed of 1250 km/h. So I say, whatever background you come from, whosoever must have taught you, maximum you have travelled on a bullet train. Teacher's speed must have been 350 km/h, 400 km/h. But I am teaching at what speed? 1250 km/h. Aircraft is very stable. When the speeds are high, is a Boeing 760 at the speed of 1250 km/h without any turbulence. Pin drop silence in the class. I am running at the speed of 1250 km/h. With that speed, every topic is complete in 90 minutes. It is not the domain of any other teacher to complete the topic in 90 minutes. Whatever the topic is there, topic is completed in every class. All questions are asked in the last 25 years are answered. Good. So second definition of the class, experience of a flight. The way flight takes off. Whenever it is on the runway, then also its speed is 300 km/h. It takes off 480. Then I will show it is at the altitude of 40,000 feet. 40,000 feet. Now I am flying at the speed of 850 km/h. Every day you keep on counting by the speed of the class. कितनी स्पीड पे चल रही है आपको अंदाजा लगाना है. रोज पूछता हूँ. That is what I feel very happy and bring the class to the calm level, that what speed class is running. Second. Third, it is energy transfer mechanism. My class is an energy transfer mechanism. Always. Who is the source? Already I said you, resonance, source and system. Source has to be always at the higher energy. If source is at the lower energy, energy cannot be transferred. And what was the objective of resonance? Maximum transfer of energy. Maximum transfer of energy from source to the system. So it is energy transfer mechanism. Source has to be always at the higher energy also. For transfer of energy, for resonance to be created, source has to be at the higher energy. So I transfer my energy. Pin drop silence. The person sitting into the last row also can understand and follow me. किसी की हिम्मत नहीं है कि यहाँ पे सो जाए या कोई चू चपड़ करके चला जाए. समझ रहे? आज तक मेरी क्लास में कभी क्रॉस क्वेश्चनिंग तक नहीं होती है. And every 10-15 minutes I will keep on saying, ask any question. Rarely anyone asks. And if he asks, answer has to be also given by the same person. Yeah. If you ask the question, then answer has to be also given by you only. I will make you answer the question. 3 ways. चौथा क्या था? एक और way है. There are 4 different ways I define my class, and every class I define these basic things has to be understood. Good. And this class is I always try to make it is a dialogue. Although class is always monologue, but I always say it is dialogue. What is monologue and what is dialogue? Monologue means only I am speaking. Dialogue means you have to speak. You can also ask me anything, whatever you want to. I will give you a choice to ask, but if you do not ask, then class is dialogue. I ask you, ask anything. मैं खड़ा हुआ हूँ, बैठा हूँ, खड़ा हूँ, बैठा भी हूँ जाके. And I am there throughout the day. You can come with any kind of doubts, whatever kind of doubts. You come. If you do not come, you do not ask, I have done my job. I am satisfied. I have done my job. And ultimately one thing also I know, if the class is full, if there are 40 people sitting into the class, how many people are going to qualify? 10. 30 people are not going to qualify. They are not my domain. Ultimately मुझे मालूम है क्लास में कितने को पास करना है, सिर्फ 10 को करना है. 25% बहुत बढ़िया क्लास है. 20 to 25% people are going to qualify. 75% people will never qualify. That also I know. I am very clear in my conscience. So I am looking out for those 10 people who are doing sincere efforts along with me. Not everybody can match with the requirements of the course. 4 years course has to be done in 4.5 months. 4-year course has to be done in 4.5 months. It has to be a complex process. Every day you have to be on tenterhooks. Every day you have to come and listen. Because if you are not attempting some class, then you are missing something or other. That you will come to know from the first class. Whatever background you come from, whatever study you have done, sir has aided some new insight to that understanding. So my class every time is an effort to aid on to your insights. Because I say what is my premise, what is my thinking, that this examination is the examination of comprehension. समझदारी का टेस्ट है. समझदारी का है, इसमें रटने का टेस्ट नहीं है, समझदारी का है. Once you evolve a level of understanding, examination is passed. It is not difficult, not at all difficult. This is difficult because you do not know what is the requirement of this exam and how to go about it. And ultimately you have to do it. And everybody has got that much energy within you. That energy has to be ignited. If that energy is ignited, you are going to qualify. And you are going to do anything after that. Not only this. Civil services is just a stepping stone. Civil services are just a stepping stone. एक career की entry है. Career तो जिंदगी में 30 साल 35 साल. That is the minimum energy required. Whatever you are requiring for qualifying this exam, with that much energy every year you have to devote for doing in those services. Because you are heading. You have to have a vision. Competition is past. This whole course is done. It requires a vision, plan. Without plan and vision, you cannot succeed. So, plan. First of all, that also I elaborate. Many of the times I elaborate from these 2 points. What is the difference between successful candidates and the people who are not successful? Successful people have got a plan, have a vision, have a strategy. All the 3 things are same. Plan, vision, strategy. And then willpower. Second point is willpower. First is you can have a nice plan, nice vision, nice strategy, but do not have the willpower to execute that plan. That is the game of strong willpower. जुनून है. किसी से भी एग्जाम पास होगा भाई. जुनून is required. That is called strong willpower. Willpower means ability to translate that vision into a action. That is required. Only 2 things are required, nothing else. Everything will follow. Everything follows. I am not saying कि hard work required, nothing. 2 things are required. पहले तो विजन सही होना चाहिए कि कैसे करना है, फिर कैसे करना है ये सोचने के बाद, ये प्लान बनाने के बाद इसमें किसी की इनपुट ले सकते हो. I am only helping you, giving you inputs. I am not going to execute for you. मुझे execute करना था. I can only demonstrate from my character that my life is a living example. Whenever I am in the class, you will find high energy. My energy will not decline. And I say I am a conservative system. Conservative system. जितनी एनर्जी के साथ आया 2 घंटे के बाद भी उतनी एनर्जी के बाद जाऊंगा. और एनर्जी कम होने लग जाएगी, क्लास नहीं लूंगा. My class is always with the same energy. Conservative system. Conservative system means kinetic plus potential energy, constant of motion. तो जितनी एम्पलीट्यूड में बोल रहा हूं उतनी एम्पलीट्यूड में जाऊंगा भी 2 घंटे के बाद. कंजर्वेटिव सिस्टम, दे मस्ट। सो हार्डवर्क करना होता है, एनर्जी लगानी होती है, ठीक है। तो बोलो किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना है, किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना है? एनी डाउट? लेनिन बाबू हैज कम, व्हेन लेनिन बाबू कम्स द क्लास गेट्स गोइंग। I feel very happy to see Lenin Babu. Lenin Babu have come all the way from Tamil Nadu. I get students from all parts of the country. I get students from all parts of country, and I define myself as an all India character, totally all India character, free from all kind of biases. Very broad-minded, very broad-minded. I love people from all parts of the country. ठीक है, एनी क्वेश्चन विलिंग टू आस्क, फील फ्री टू आस्क। नहीं पूछोगे तो आपकी मर्जी, नहीं पूछोगे तो आपकी मर्जी। मेरी तरफ से तो डायलॉग हो रहा है। बोलो भाई साहब, कुछ पूछना है? कुछ नहीं पूछना है, इतने मूल्य समय लगाया है आपने। कहाँ से आए हो आप? वेयर हैव यू कम फ्रॉम? यू यस, उड़ीसा। अच्छा, यू आर, व्हाट्स योर नेम? हाँ, पुजारनी प्रधान, प्लीज सिट। यस यस, आई हैव टॉक टू यू ऑन फोन, आई हैव टॉक टू यू ऑन फोन। योर गुड नेम? आप कहाँ से आए? पानीपत से आए, 100 किलोमीटर दूर है। ऑल बैटल्स वर फॉट एट पानीपत, वाई? Near to the capital. अच्छा, very good. One point is correct, but you have to write 6 such points. Why all battles were fought? Have you ever visited that stone where they have put all battles were fought at Panipat? There is some stone marking there. है कहीं वहाँ पर? है ना? हमारे पास एक ओमनीसियंट IAS अकेडमी चलाते हैं, पानीपत में ही रहते हैं। लाल बाल है उनके, बाल को लाल कर लिया उन्हें, रेड कलर का कर लिया है। MK मोहित नाम है उनका, तो उनका नाम मैंने रख दिया लाल बाल वाले। तो लाल बाल वाले पानीपत में पढ़ाते हैं। तो उन्होंने कहा पानीपत में पत्थर देख के आए जहाँ पर वो पानीपत के युद्ध का अच्छा, चंडीगढ़ थी, तो आपने पानीपत का नहीं किया। और एंड हु एल्स? और किसका परिचय करना? आप कहाँ से आए भाई साहब? कहाँ से? अरे बैठे रहो कुर्सी में। समस्तीपुर से आए, कितना अच्छा है, समस्तीपुर से आए। आप कहाँ से आए? लखनऊ से आए। क्या किया आपने लखनऊ से? पढ़ाई लिखाई क्या करी? फिर कौन से कॉलेज से? सेंट स्टीफन से किया। वेरी गुड, कर लिया, कर रहे हो, कर लिया। इस बार कितने % मार्क्स? वेरी गुड, बहुत अच्छा है। यू हैव कम टू द राइट प्लेस। आई ऑलवेज वेलकम द पीपुल लाइक यू। गुड चांस, लेकिन उल्टा लटकना पड़ता है क्योंकि कंपटीशन, यू आर गुड, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी 9.6, वेरी गुड, बट योर कंपटीशन इज अमंगस्ट IIT बॉम्बे। 2 बैठे हुए देखो इस क्लास में। IIT बॉम्बे मीन्स टॉप ऑफ द कंट्री, गुड चांस, बट उसमें भी उल्टा लटकना पड़ता है। ये हिंदी का इडियम भी समझ लो, उल्टा लटकना मीन्स यू हैव टू मेक हार्ड वर्क, बिकॉज इट इज़ नॉट, इट इज़ अ 4-year course has to be done in 4 hours. 4-year course I teach in 4.5 months, but it has to be compressed to 4 hours. I compress the course, 4-year course in 4 months. You have to compress this course to 4 hours. Your proposition must be so that you are able to compress the entire course, which I am going to compress in 600 pages. 6,000 books, 6,000 pages of books, I am going to compress 600 pages in 4 to 4.5 months of duration. Total course is only 4 months. Non-stop पढ़ाऊँ तो it is less than 4 months, because only we take 24 classes in a month. If 6 days a week, then how many weeks? 4 weeks, 24 classes a month. That is how it is 5 months. And some vacation is also there in between. That is how it becomes 5 months. Otherwise, typically it takes 4 to 4.5 months. This entire course has to be compressed. Your target must be that you have to compress the course in 4 hours. Then only you can omit out in the real exam. ठीक है भाई साहब, कुछ पूछना है? नहीं पूछना है? अगर किसी को कुछ पूछना है तो feel free to ask. Otherwise, class is concluded. We will meet tomorrow. Same time, same place. Same time, same place. Same time means 5 o'clock. Same place means the same classroom. ठीक है? क्या? 5 to 7, हाँ. 2 आवर क्लास बहुत है, 2 आवर में आधा घंटा तो भाषण ही देना है। और कल की क्लास में तो मैथमेटिक्स वगैरह पढ़ानी है, एक्सेलरेशन वेलोसिटी बताना है, व्हाट इज एक्सेलरेशन, व्हाट इज द वेलोसिटी, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन पेपर 1 इज क्लासिकल, पेपर 2 इज क्वांटम, क्या पढ़ाना है वो भी बता देता हूँ। पेपर 1 इज वाई ऑल दीज 4 बुक्स, वाई नॉट न्यूक्लियर फिजिक्स एज ए पार्ट ऑफ पेपर 1, why not solid state physics as a part of paper 1, why they have written mechanics, optics, thermodynamics and electricity, magnetism and all other courses in paper 2. They could have brought it solid state physics in paper 1 also. Why they have not done it? Why? Because physics is classical and quantum. Classical means dealing with distinguishable particles, quantum dealing with indistinguishable particles. That difference I will bring out very clear in first class. So classical means deterministic. Whenever I will apply some force, then where the particle will go, you know, it is deterministic. Quantum is indeterministic. It's probabilistic. We will talk in terms of probability. So first of all, we will talk about approach in physics. Then I will talk about what is frame of reference. Everything is with respect to some frame of reference. What is frame of reference then? How in physics we define frame of reference? Those kind of basic preliminaries, important, very important class, but not the part of syllabus. It is the preliminary to the syllabus, and every batch I do that. So from whenever I say the class is going to start from maybe over 18, then 2-3 classes before that, whatever the preliminary prerequisite are required, I will do this week. And if you want to see, there are 8 classes free of cost. In YouTube, class 1, class 2, in mechanics I have taken 8 classes in the corona time, and all of them are in the YouTube. And starting this all framework setting. I call these classes as framework setting because it's a marathon course. It will go on non-stop for 120 classes, 5 months. So before that I have to set up the whole frame of reference, how we are going to evaluate, how we are going to discuss. I will call zero class. What is the meaning of zero class? Zero class means class is not counted towards syllabus. It is orientation class. It is framework setting. It is preliminary introduction to the course. So not all the time I will keep on saying that quantum system means indistinguishable particles. How I will define indistinguishable particles? There is a criteria of defining indistinguishability. What is that criteria? Good, all those things. ठीक है जी, thank you.